Do you sometimes feel like you're not in the mood for penetration, but you still want to have sex? Or do you find penetrative sex really painful and want to find out how to enjoy non-penetrative sex? Or maybe you're getting married soon and you want to prepare for your wedding night, but you're not quite ready to have sexual intercourse on your wedding night and want to find out about other forms of sex. In this video, I'll be sharing the different ways that you can enjoy sex that don't require the penis entering the vagina. Please subscribe if you haven't already done so. I create videos on sex education and body positivity in a God-conscious way, so definitely hit the subscribe button below. Also, don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you're notified each time I upload a new video. And I'd love for you to follow me over on Instagram as I create posts around these topics too. So I want to start off by saying that non-penetrative sex can be just as pleasurable as penis in vagina sex, if not more so. Actually, many times non-penetrative sex can be extremely pleasurable, especially for the woman, and can lead to intense orgasms. And actually, non-penetrative sex can be just as pleasurable for the man, if not more so. Now, it's important to know that sex is not just about penetration. Sexual intercourse in which the penis enters the vagina is not the only form of sex, so that's important to start there. And actually, if you're struggling with painful sex or you have a condition known as vaginismus and you're looking to overcome painful penetrative sex or overcome vaginismus, I have another video specifically for you on how you can overcome vaginismus and overcome painful penetration. So you can check out that video. I've put the link somewhere around this video, and the link will also be in the description box below. So this video specifically that I'm creating for you right now here is for you if you want to explore other forms of sex that don't require penetration. Maybe you're getting a little bit bored of penetrative sex. Maybe you're finding it a bit uncomfortable. Maybe you're not in the mood for it. And maybe you just don't find it that pleasurable. And maybe you struggle to achieve orgasm through penetration. All of those things are completely normal, which is why we're going to explore different ways for you to enjoy sexual pleasure without penetration. This video is also useful if the man is struggling with premature ejaculation or erectile dysfunction and you're looking for ways to have both partners' sexual needs fulfilled without needing penetration. Now, it's completely normal if you're not always in the mood for penetrative sex, and actually the way that penetrative sex feels may vary from week to week. It may be that in 1 week it feels really pleasurable and amazing, and then the next week it doesn't feel so good. And there are so many different reasons why this happens. One reason may be biological. If you think about a woman's monthly menstrual cycle, there are actually 4 different phases that occur within that monthly menstrual cycle. So we know that the part that where a woman is having her period, that's known as the menstrual phase. There are other phases after that. They include the follicular, the luteal, and the ovulatory phase. Usually during the ovulatory phase, that is typically the phase of a woman's cycle where she will usually find penetration easier and more comfortable and more enjoyable, and she may even be able to achieve orgasm during the ovulatory phase through penetration. During the other phases, the follicular phase and the luteal phase, she may need more stimulation, more foreplay, more lubricant to help her to be more comfortable with penetration. But equally, during those other 2 phases that I mentioned, the follicular and luteal, if the woman's not in the mood for penetration but is still in the mood for sex, there are other forms of sex that you can enjoy during those times when the woman's not in the mood or perhaps doesn't find penetration that comfortable. So one of the first things we're going to need to do to achieve sex without penetration is to define sex and to be more open-minded when it comes to our definition of sex, to broaden our opinion and our view about what sex actually is. One way we can do this is to think about what is the goal of sex and what is the purpose of sex. In my opinion, the goal and purpose of sex is both pleasure and intimacy. So in my view, if you're being intimate and close with your spouse and it feels really pleasurable, then technically you're being sexual with them and you are enjoying and engaging in sex with them. In my opinion, orgasm is not the goal of sex. Orgasm may happen as a result of sex and sexual activity, but orgasm isn't the goal of sex. The goal and purpose of sex, as I mentioned, is intimacy and pleasure. And so when we think of sex that way and define sex that way in order to achieve intimacy and pleasure, we can see that penetration is not the only way to achieve intimacy and pleasure. So when you're coming up with your own definition of sex, ask yourself, what are some things that you can do and enjoy with your spouse that lead to intimacy and pleasure, and may perhaps also lead to orgasm too? One thing we can do when we go about enjoying non-penetrative sex is to ask ourselves, when is penetration actually even necessary? If you stop and think about it, when it comes to sex, penetration is only really necessary if you're trying to procreate or get pregnant naturally. If you really think about it, that's the only time that penetration is necessary, if you want to get pregnant naturally and procreate. And even then, if you're not able to get pregnant naturally, there are many other methods to be able to get pregnant. So stop and think about it. Penetration is not the only form of sex, and penetration is only absolutely necessary if you're trying to get pregnant naturally. Now, that's not to say that you never need to have penetrative sex. If you and your spouse enjoy penetrative sex and you both find it pleasurable, then definitely go ahead and do that if you're both in the mood for that and you're both feeling that. But if there are times when either spouse is just not in the mood for penetration, definitely explore the different ways to enjoy non-penetrative sex that I'm going to talk about in this video. Personally, what I like to say is, when it comes to sex, penetration is optional, but pleasure is not. And just briefly, if you are struggling to get pregnant due to painful sex or vaginismus, please do check out my other video where I talk about vaginismus treatment to be able to overcome painful sex. Now, before I go ahead and talk about the different ways that you can enjoy non-penetrative sex, some questions that I get asked is it possible to get pregnant without penetration? And in a word, the answer is yes. It is possible to get pregnant without penetrative sex. And this happens if any sperm or semen comes from the penis and enters the vagina in any way. Even if the penis didn't enter the vagina itself, it is still possible to get pregnant. There are some of my clients I have who struggle with vaginismus, where, you know, the husband's penis is trying to enter the woman's vagina but isn't possible to go in. There may be, and there usually is, sperm cells or semen on the head of the penis, and even if the head of the penis just touches the opening of the vagina and didn't actually go in, it's possible for there to be some transfer of sperm cells or semen into her vagina, even if it didn't fully go in. And there are actually some women who have not been able to have penetrative sex and have still gotten pregnant. And why I share this with you is because if you're going to explore some different ways of enjoying non-penetrative sex, if you don't want to get pregnant, it's still important to make sure that you're using some form of contraception or condom. So you've gotten to this point in the video and you may be thinking, okay, tell me what I need to do to enjoy non-penetrative sex. So I'm going to go through these, and what I share with you is I want you to bear in mind that these are options that you can explore. And if you've not heard of some of these things that I'm going to share with you, please don't kind of disregard them or think that, oh no, I'm not going to try that. Even if you've never heard of something, be willing to explore what I'm going to share with you and try it out multiple times to see if it's something that works for you. So one form of non-penetrative sex that you can enjoy is called outercourse. Now, it is pretty much the opposite of intercourse, where intercourse involves the penis entering the vagina. Outercourse is basically any sexual activity that you enjoy with your spouse that doesn't involve the penis entering the vagina. So technically speaking, if you think about foreplay essentially is a form of outercourse, okay? And actually the word outercourse is a better word than foreplay, because the word foreplay makes you think of, you're doing something before the actual event of intercourse. So that's what foreplay makes you think of. But when you think of outercourse, actually foreplay is part of outercourse, and foreplay is a form of sex. So outercourse and foreplay are forms of non-penetrative sex, and outercourse can be extremely pleasurable, extremely enjoyable. Outercourse itself can lead to orgasms for both partners, and outercourse involves stimulating different parts of the body in a way that feels really pleasurable for both partners. And it can involve, so for example, for the man, if he wants to engage in outer course where he doesn't penetrate the woman's vagina, but he could, for example, rub his penis against a part of the woman's body. It could be that he's rubbing his penis against her vulva, or rubbing it against her clitoris, or rubbing it against any part of her body. So that would be a form of outer course for the man. And equally, another form of outer course could involve the man stimulating the woman's clitoris. It could be with his penis on the outside, it could be with his hands or with his mouth, and I'm going to go into that later on in the video. So that's one of the first forms that you can explore, is outer course, which involves non-penetrative sex, where the woman and the man are enjoying each other's bodies without relying on the penis entering the vagina. And one more thing I want to say about outer course is that outer course can be just as satisfying and pleasurable as penetrative sex, if not more so. Another form of non-penetrative sex that's actually kind of related to outer course is known as dry humping. You may have heard of this. Dry humping involves engaging in sexual activity, but where you're still either fully clothed or partially clothed, or it could be over fabric. So sometimes I get the question where someone will ask me, is it necessary to be naked to have sex? And the answer is no, you don't need to be naked to have sex. Because when we think about our definition of sex, sex is a way of engaging in intimacy and pleasure with our spouse. So you don't technically need to be naked, but it's great to be naked if you're comfortable with that and it feels pleasurable to both spouses. But there is also a way to engage in sexual activity known as dry humping, where essentially you are clothed or partially clothed, or you're doing it over some material or fabric. So that's something that you can explore too. Another form of non-penetrative sex that you can enjoy is known as Kunyaza. Kunyaza is a technique where, and this is something that the man especially will need to learn how to do. And if you want to learn more about Kunyaza, I highly recommend that you check out the work of Brother Habib Akande. He has a book about Kunyaza, and so I highly recommend that you go and check out his work and educate yourself about how to actually do the technique of Kunyaza properly. So just briefly a little bit about Kunyaza. It involves a technique where the man uses his erect penis to stimulate the woman's clitoris and labia in a very rhythmic way. And again, you will need to go and find out more about how to actually do this. I highly recommend, as I mentioned, the work of Brother Habib Akande. Reach out to him or buy his book on Kunyaza. And Kunyaza is a technique which is known to produce a very intense, pleasurable feeling for the woman, and can lead to intense orgasms. It's also known to lead to what's known as squirting or female ejaculation. So if you're interested in providing this for your spouse, for your wife to feel more pleasure, then definitely look into Kunyaza as an amazing form of pleasurable non-penetrative sex. The next form of non-penetrative sex that you can enjoy is very simple and probably something that you're already doing, especially if you're engaging in foreplay, is manual stimulation. And manual stimulation essentially uses your hands and your fingers to stimulate each other's genitals and parts of your body that you feel really pleasurable. So when it comes to the man stimulating the woman, he may use his hands to stimulate her clitoris and parts of her labia and parts of her vulva that feel really pleasurable, and that can bring her to orgasm. And vice versa, when it comes to the woman can use her hands to stimulate the man's penis, and that can lead to him having an orgasm and feeling immense pleasure from that. So another thing you can focus on, which is related to what I just shared with manual stimulation, is focusing on mutual masturbation. So if you think about the term, it's basically where you are masturbating each other simultaneously. So the man would be masturbating the woman and the woman would be masturbating the man, but you're doing that at the same time and doing it to each other. So that's something that you can definitely focus on, and it can be extremely pleasurable and extremely enjoyable. So I have a few more things that I want to share with you with regards to non-penetrative sex, but I just want to stop here for a second and just ask, if you haven't already done so, please hit the like button below. It means a lot to me, and I'd love it if you could leave a comment below and share with me what topics you would like me to cover in these videos that I create. I want to make sure that the videos I create are extremely relevant to you. So if you could leave a comment below and let me know what topics you would like me to cover in these videos that I create. Thank you. The next form of non-penetrative sex that you may want to explore is oral sex. And I know that it depends on your religious beliefs with regards to whether you think oral sex is permissible or not. I'm going to talk to you about my own personal beliefs, and then you can go and do your own research and speak to a scholar about whether oral sex is something that you would like to enjoy exploring or not. Personally, my beliefs involve, when it comes to whether something is permissible or not, my beliefs are that anal sex is not permissible in the religious teachings that I follow, and that penetrative sex when a woman's on her period is not permissible, but other forms of sex that are non-penetrative are fine when a woman's not on her period, when a woman's on her period. So those are my beliefs, that anal sex is a no-no and penetrative sex when a woman's on her period is also a no-no. But when it comes to oral sex, as long as it's something that both spouses are comfortable, that they both find pleasurable and enjoyable and both want to do, then go for it and enjoy in oral sex. So if oral sex is something that you want to explore and that you're comfortable with, really take your time with it, really discuss how you would like your spouse to go ahead doing that to you. When it comes to, for example, the man providing oral sex to the woman, he can really focus on using his mouth and his tongue to stimulate the clitoris, because that usually is the most pleasurable part for a woman. And then the woman can decide whether she feels comfortable to do that to her husband as well. And again, the man can discuss how he would like her to do that. But oral sex is a great thing to explore between yourselves, because it can feel extremely pleasurable and enjoyable. Another form of non-penetrative sex is using sex toys. If this is something that you're comfortable with doing, exploring getting different sex toys and using this on each other. And finally, the last form of non-penetrative sex is called tantric sex. So tantric sex is something that you perhaps want to go and explore and research further. But tantric sex essentially is really great for if the man, for example, has erectile dysfunction or premature ejaculation. This is one great way of exploring tantric sex, and I'll go into a little bit what it is and what it involves. And another thing about tantric sex where it can be really useful is if either spouse struggles with what's known as anorgasmia, where they struggle to achieve an orgasm, even though they find the sexual activity arousing and pleasurable, they struggle to achieve orgasm. So tantric sex is great if you struggle with any of those conditions. So just a little bit about what tantric sex is. With tantric sex, the goal is not orgasm. Tantric sex essentially involves a lot of breath work. It involves being really present in the moment, being really sensual with each other, exploring each other's bodies. It's quite meditative. You would focus on things like massage, communication, being really intimate with one another. And tantric sex is great because it really provides a deep, intimate connection with your spouse. So if this is something you're interested in, go ahead and do some research. There are even some books on tantric sex that you may want to explore. Okay, I've shared with you everything that I could think of when it comes to enjoying non-penetrative sex. I'd love it if you could leave a comment below and let me know if you found this video helpful. Let me know what of the techniques you would like to try with your own spouse. And also, I just wanted to let you know that I'm currently in the process of creating a new course, a new program, which is going to focus on helping couples to achieve more sexual pleasure. At the time of recording this video, the program's not yet available, but if you would like to join the waitlist so that you're notified when I do release this course, the link to join the waitlist is in the description box below. And if you're struggling with painful sex or vaginismus, I have a free training for this. You can find out more details in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like this video, subscribe and hit the bell icon, and leave some comments below and let me know what topics you would like me to cover. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the next video. And I'd love it while you're here if you could check out this video next. If you're struggling with painful sex or vaginismus, check out this video which talks about vaginismus treatment options to help you with overcoming painful sex. Thank you so much for watching this video. Take care. See you in the next video.